Hi everyone, this is OC from Digital Adventures. Got another great project for you today. This one is called Submarine Captains, and what we have here is we have a starfish that tries to attack us, and we try to mine for diamonds underwater. So I'm going to clear out of this. I'm going to show you how this works. So let's get out of full screen. I'm going to stop this here. So essentially what we have is 5 different sprites. We have a starfish, we have a sea ship, we have a diamond, we have a laser, and we have a bubble. So I'm going to go ahead and clear this code out of here for all of these things, and then we're going to go ahead and build this from scratch. A lot of little items of code in here. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off with coding the starfish. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go to events. We're going to get ourselves a when green flag clicked. Then we're going to go to control. We're going to grab ourselves a forever loop. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to nest an if then else statement in here. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a conditional statement based on the number of diamonds that have been mined. And so we've created a couple variables, diamonds and ship directions. So I'm going to put this in here. And I'm going to say that anytime the diamonds are less than 3, then we're going to do something. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to motion. We're going to get ourselves a glide to a certain position. So essentially what it's going to be is that it's going to go faster or slower based on the number of diamonds that we've mined to make this project a little more complicated. So we're going to grab 2 of these glide blocks. What we want to do with these glide blocks is we want to have them go randomly across the screen for this starfish. And here's where we sort of change the speed of this. So what we're going to do is when diamonds are less than 3, we're going to have it glide for 1 second. And when diamonds are above 3, we're going to have it glide for a half of a second. So it's going to move a little faster. And then we're going to change this range to negative 240 to 240. And then negative 170 to 170. And then we're going to repeat that for the others. So we're going to do negative 240 to 240. Negative 170 to 170. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a boundary condition for when this is touching the laser. So what we're going to do is we're going to have an if-then statement that we're going to put inside of a forever loop. So we're going to grab that from control. We're going to place that if-then statement inside of here. And then we're going to sense for whether or not we're touching the laser. If we're touching the laser, then what we're going to do is we're going to hide ourselves. So we're going to click on this hide block. We're going to wait for, let's give ourselves 1 second, and then we're going to respawn. So we're going to show ourselves. So that's the code for the starfish. Now let's go over to the sea ship and begin to program that. So first we're going to go into events. We're going to give ourselves a when green flag clicked. Then we're going to get ourselves a show block. Next thing that we're going to do is we always want this to spawn from a certain position, and that's going to be 0, 0. So we're going to say go to 0, 0. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to create the movement of this. So we're going to get a when green flag clicked. Then we're going to get ourselves a forever loop. Inside this forever loop, we're going to nest 2 if-then conditional statements. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be sensing for certain key spaces to be pressed. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab key space pressed. We're going to grab another one of these. And we're going to have these key off of the left arrow and the right arrow. And when it does that, what we're going to do is essentially we're going to have it turn by a counterclockwise 15 degrees for the left arrow. And then we're going to have it turn clockwise when the right arrow key is pressed. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to get ourselves another when green flag click from events. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up something called ship directions. So we're going to grab ourselves a forever loop. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to variables. And we're going to say that we're going to set this thing called ship direction, which is this variable that we created, to be the direction of the ship. So there's these things that can be X position, Y position. We're going to have that set up to be the direction of the fish or the ship. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go back to events. We're going to grab ourselves a when green flag clicked. Then we're going to switch our costume to something called not boosting. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to events. We're going to get ourselves a forever loop. And then inside this forever loop, what we're going to do is we're going to nest an if then else conditional statement. And then inside of that, what we're going to do is we're going to nest a second if then else conditional statement. And so for the first one, what we're going to do is we're going to sense whether or not we're touching the starfish or the enemy. And if so, what we're going to do is we're going to switch our costume to us getting hit. And then what we're going to do is we want to make sure that we wait 1 second so that we can actually see this impact. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hide ourselves. And then we're going to stop the whole thing. So we're going to hide. And then we're going to go back to control. We're going to get a stop all block. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to be sensing for whether or not the up arrow is pressed. So we're going to look for a key space to be pressed. We're going to change this to the up arrow. And what happens here is we want to switch our costume when this happens to something we call boosting. And then we're going to have it move by 10 steps. And then when it's not doing that, what we're going to do is we're going to switch our costume to not boosting. So this is going to give us a nice little effect for the sea ship or the submarine. Now we're going to program the diamond. So what we're going to do is we're going to get ourselves another when green flag clicked. We're going to initialize this variable to be equal to 0 when we first start. We're going to have ourselves a show block because we want the diamond to show up. Then we're going to get ourselves a forever loop. And inside this forever loop, we're going to nest an if-then conditional statement. And what we're going to be looking for is whether or not it's touching the sea ship. And if it's touching that, what we're going to do is first we're going to hide it. So we're going to go into looks, we're going to hide. We're going to change the count on our diamonds by 1. And then what we're going to do is we're going to wait 1 second. So we're going to grab that from control. And then we want this thing to respawn sort of randomly. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a go to XY block. And then we're going to go into operators and we're going to get 2 pick randoms. And these pick randoms, we're going to have it vary between negative 220 and 220 and negative 170 and 170. And then we're going to have that thing reshow. So we're going to go here. We're going to get ourselves a show block. And then that's going to be all the code for the diamond. Now we're going to go into the laser. What we're going to do is just like before, we're going to get ourselves a when green flag clicked. Then what we're going to do is we're going to get ourselves a hide block. And beneath that hide block, what we're going to do is we're going to get ourselves a forever loop. Inside this forever loop, what we're going to do is we're going to nest an if-then conditional statement. And so what we're going to be looking for is whether or not the key space is pressed. That's how we're going to activate our laser. What we want to have it do is we want to have it, when we do that, we're going to have it go to our submarine. And then what we're going to have it do is we're going to have it point in a direction. And that direction is going to be that variable that we set up earlier called ship direction. And then what we want it to do is we want it to show up. So we're going to grab a show block. And then what we're going to do is we're going to nest a repeat loop right beneath this. And what this is going to do is it's going to create the movement for this. So we're going to have this move. Let's do it 20 steps, and then we're going to have it hide. So we're going to grab ourselves a hide block to go at the end of here, and we're going to put that outside of that repeat loop. And so we press the key space, it goes to the spaceship, or the submarine, it's pointing in the same direction as the ship. We show it, it shoots out for 20 steps, we do that 10 times, and then we hide it. So that's the code for that. And then let's create a nice little bubble effect to come off of that submarine. So what we're going to do is we're going to get ourselves another when green flag clicked. Then what we're going to do is we're going to grab ourselves a hide block. And what you're going to notice is that we typically grab a hide block when we're going to clone ourselves. So we're going to grab our forever loop. Then what we're going to do is we need a little wait block in here. And then we're going to get a create clone of myself block. It's going to go right underneath that. So we want this to basically clone every 10th of a second. Now what we want to do is we want to say, when I start as a clone, what do I do? The first thing that I want to do is I want to show up. And then what I want to do is I want to go to that submarine. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my XBY. This is going to be sort of a pick random. And the reason for that is that we don't want it always to be predictable how this sort of goes out there. So we're going to vary this between -5 and -10. We also are going to want to have this set a size to. And this size to is also going to be a pick random. And we're going to have this vary between, let's call this 20 and 100%. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get ourselves a repeat block. And this repeat block, we're going to have it go by 20. And what we're going to do is we're going to change our Y by and our X by. So this is going to be in motion. So we're going to get a change X by. We're going to get a change Y by. And we're going to have these both be at 3. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get a little ghost effect in here. So we're going to say change our ghost effect. And this is going to be by 5. And then at the very end, what we're going to do is we want to delete that clone. And so now we've got all the code. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on full screen. We're going to click on the green flag. We got hit by the starship. We got hit by the starfish. So let's do that one more time. Let's try to mine a diamond. Keep getting hit by that starfish. All right, one more time. Let's at least up. Starfish is hard to get rid of, isn't it? All right, we got ourselves one diamond. Let's get ourselves another one. All right, so that's essentially how we do it. This is a fun little project. We've got a submarine under the sea that we can essentially mine for diamonds for. So hope you all are enjoying these projects. If so, give us a like, a comment, or a subscribe, and we hope to see you back for the next one. Thank you so much.